Hello everybody, this is the MothrShip here bringing you the patch X.23.0 for Realm of the Mad God. This is called the Assassin and Trickster Balance patch. For this one, they've really focused on making those two classes a lot better. They've done some buffs to some certain items that have been very much requested to be buffed. You'll see in a minute here later in the video, we'll get to that. But they've also done some really cool quality of life changes, including changes to the UI, changes to the options settings, changes to the main menu, and everything like that. So let's just get straight into it. They've also deactivated the heart drops, which means you can't get them anymore, but those you still have until March 11th to turn in your hearts and love letters, and also your dungeon shards and oryx things. You can turn those in until March 11th. So go ahead and get that done as soon as possible so you don't get screwed over by waiting too long. So the new stuff, really cool things like curse indications are back, and you can turn them on or off depending on what you want. It'll change the enemy's glow instead of covering them in ketchup like it used to. Or you can just leave it with just the icon on top of their head if you personally don't like the glow. The awesomest, in my opinion, new thing that came in, is that a word, awesomest? Whatever. In the new update, when an encounter spawns, this is what Deca says, when an encounter spawns, all players that fulfill its level requirement receive a quest update. So what that means is that when you're just farming around, killing ents and stuff, and a hermit spawns, immediately your quest icon will change to that. So here there's some footage of like a ghost ship icon or whatever. But when an event spawns, you'll immediately change to that. You don't have to teleport around. You don't have to wait a while. You don't have to miss the event, essentially. It'll be immediately changed to it, and you can go do it right away. Another cool thing is that you can change a ton of experimental settings. Things like HP bars, you can tinker with a bunch. XP, Fame, HP, MP bars, you can change them up a bunch. I recommend you go check those out yourself, since it'd just be a little bit too much to cover in this video. But it's some really great stuff, and they've also added some things that can just optimize how well your game runs, like turning off settings for other people but not for yourself, like particles and things like that. A new hotkey for ally projectiles is super cool, so that if you're in like a Lost Halls and you want to turn them off, you can. But in the regular game, if you want to play with them, you can just hit your hotkey and turn allied projectiles back on. The Friends button has been moved next to the Nexus option. Who am I kidding? Nobody cares about the Friends button. Okay. For a Fame overview, they fixed their Fame overview thing. It sucked before. It didn't work at all. Apparently it works now. Personally, I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I die and the Fame matches it, but they say it's fixed, so just go with that. It's probably fine. You can also check your dungeons completed, which is great. That's a super great addition, since I never know and I never get Tunnel Rat because I never do my whatever the hell dungeon. I decided to pass up on that playthrough. Some new daily quest stuff. You can switch between quests and events, which is nice, I guess. I mean, I don't go there very often. I'm usually just doing other stuff, but if you switch between quests and events a bunch, it cleans it up a bit. So the class reworks, that's a really important part of this update. So let's just start off with assassins. They're better now. It just takes less time to throw poisons. They changed it to 0.8 seconds instead of what it used to be, almost double. It used to be 1.5 seconds. So there's also greater damage, so there's like impact damage now, so when it hits it does immediate damage, kind of like a trap would. Lower duration, so faster damage, and a slight MP cost decrease. I'm putting an image up right now of just a table. This is from Deca. I didn't make this table, so you can go ahead and look at that if you want. You can pause the video, but I'm just gonna go ahead and move on. Murky and Plague have their own particle colors now, which is cool. Some tooltips have been changed. But in general, assassins are just better now. They're not such like a leech class. You can actually go in there and, do straight up damage with impact damage and things like that. Also, it shows the armor pierce damage colors now, which is good. It's just a cool quality of life fix. As for prisms, now I love this because I love my Trickster. I've never used it. I've never taken it into a realm or anything like that, but it looks cool. And I like being able to see my skin thing for my character on the decoys, and I can do that now. Decoys have the owner's skin applied now, except with the golden one because, that's a special thing, but whatever. You can see on the screen also they've changed the decoys. The maximum distance has been reduced, but the speed now increases with tiers. So it reaches its destination sooner. So like the decoy just runs, like with a T6, it'll run 25% faster, I believe. so the decoy will just book it to wherever the heck you pointed it to go. Some of them have just been buffed. I'll let you go ahead and read through the table if you want. The ghostly prism is better now. Some particle effects have been changed, but overall the Trickster's just better now, and the offensive prisms have gotten a buff. And speaking of buffs, hey, so I know we've fought the battle for Hydras, we've fought the battle for Necros, we've fought the battle for Sorcerers, and we've fought the battle for the CDirk. And I've never had a CDirk, but I'm still excited because the CDirk just got buffed, boys. Rate of fire has been a little bit reduced, but that's okay because the damage has been increased from 105 to 210 to 130 to 250, which that's a pretty significant increase considering how, often you shoot a dagger. Wisdom bonus has been increased by 2, and the range has been just barely buffed. So it's still short range. Well, no, it's actually not that short range, but it's just been increased a little bit. The Aetheryte, on the other hand, has been increased a little bit in its rate of fire, barely, you won't even notice it, and decreased just slightly in its damage, an average of 2.5 damage per shot. The shot speed, however, has gone down, so the bullets will travel slower, and the range has been reduced to just 3.84 compared to the CDirk's 4.5. So now the CDirk is pretty good. I'll put a little infographic up again. I didn't take this picture again. It's from P-Fiffle's DPS calculator taken by Deca. So that you can see right there that past a certain amount of defense, the CDirk is going to be better. But before that, assuming you can land your shots, the Aetheryte should be more effective. So it's very balanced now. I think this is just a great change because, in my opinion, the CDirk is better now. I would prefer the CDirk. And I have a bunch of Aetherytes. I don't know, maybe I have a couple. I have no idea. But they're good, but I'm really glad that there's something out there that I can try to work for and get that is better because, I don't know, buying something for like 5 life just doesn't feel very rewarding. So I'm going to try and get a CDirk now since they're super cool. But speaking of like rare items and stuff, some of the rare stuff has gotten its fame and feed power increased. So like the Rezu, the Plague, the Doku, the Tablet, and the Spectral Cloth Armor have all gotten increases to their fame and some of them to their feed power. The most notable ones, I'd say, Spectral has gone from 2% to 5%. The Tablet is now a 6% fame bonus, and the Plague is a 6%. So those are pretty cool, especially since those are pretty good items. Like the Spectral, it can be a pretty high-end armor. I personally don't use it very often, but it should definitely be more than 2% fame, and I think this change is generally a good idea. So that's essentially the overview of the update. Super cool stuff. Most importantly, I'd say just the class reworks, buff CDirk, and now the quest icon is changed. And also, if you want to lag less, they've done a bunch of changes to that. You can go into your experimental options, tinker around with that a little bit, and it's just generally a really good update. I don't see any negatives to this one. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was really informative. Let me know if you have any questions about the update, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.